Well, folks, Merrick Garland testified today before Congress and before the Senate and made Republicans look like fools. Ted Cruz actually just had a hissy fit and fell back in it. He wouldn't even let Merrick Garland answer the question that he asked because Merrick Garland wasn't giving him the answer he wanted to hear. He was seeing his own bullshit right-wing talking point just evaporate into thin air in front of him, and he just had a hissy fit because he couldn't get Merrick Garland to give him the answer that he wanted. But let's not start there. Let's start with we had old Foghorn Leghorn John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana, just that old right-wing talking point that when you may remember when parents were going down to the school board meetings and they were showing up armed, they were being belligerent and violent, and the FBI eventually got involved because it was in so many places they found out it was an AstroTurf movement on the right that was getting parents to show up and just be belligerent in school board meetings, that the FBI was called in to stop violence. That's what they were there for, is to stop violence, to stop parents from being intimidated to go to school board meetings because all these right-wingers were showing up and intentionally trying to intimidate parents and intentionally trying to take over the school boards. So the FBI gets called, and the Republican talking point is, of course, the exact opposite. You should be able to take a gun down to your school board, is what they're saying. You should be able to yell down there and intimidate people and bring in Proud Boys, terrorists, and shit like that to stock school boards in places where their kids don't even go to school and whatnot. They're screaming. You've got John. Well, look, take a look at the video of John Kennedy here.
Didn't you understand the chilling effect that it would have to parents when you issued your directive, when you directed your criminal divisions and your counterterrorism divisions to investigate parents who were angry at school boards and administrators during COVID?
So, Senator, if you just give me a moment to put the full context, I did not do that. I did not issue any memorandum directing the investigation of parents who are concerned about their children. Quite to the contrary, the memorandum that you're talking about says at the very beginning of the memorandum that vigorous public debate is protected by the First Amendment. And the kind of concerns that you're talking about are, as expressed by parents, are, of course, completely protected. The memorandum was aimed at violence and threats of violence against a whole host of school personnel. It was not aimed at parents making complaints to their school board. And it came in the context of a whole series of other kinds of violent threats and violence against other public officials.
So John Kennedy is there saying, well, you're chilling, can you see how chilling that is for parents? Well, these weren't parents. These weren't, a lot of cases, these weren't even people that lived in the district. They were literally agitators brought in to silence the parents that lived there. But look who John Kennedy's defending. And Merrick Garland does a great job of just shutting him down here. And then another talking point that Garland just completely evaporates. You've got old Ted Cruz that wants to talk about the protesters that showed up outside the Supreme Court justices' houses. And, the right-wingers were screaming they wanted prosecutions on a certain statute. But this, and what Merrick Garland's response to that, what he's trying to say is that the Supreme Court justices have protection. They have protection on the scene. And the marshals make the decision if something reaches the point that it's a danger. It always starts, when you're out on the street and a crime occurs, it's not a prosecutor that stops that crime. It's a cop. And the cop takes the charges to the prosecutor. Garland's trying to explain all this, but it's not the answer that Ted Cruz wants. Ted Cruz wanted people prosecuted under a certain statute The prosecutors looked at it and said that statute doesn't apply. And Garland's trying to give him a reasoned, thought out answer as to why they didn't prosecute under this statute, to answer his question. I mean, if you ask the question, you've got to expect the answer. Well, the answer was totally evaporating his right-wing talking point, which is to say that everybody's biased against the right. You know, if they prosecuted people under this terroristic statute before, and it's like, well, we want them prosecuted under that. Well, you don't get to choose that. The law enforcement at the scene decides what the reaction will be, whether people have to be arrested or not, and then prosecutors will look at what the reports are from those officers, from that law enforcement, those federal agents on the scene, the marshals on the scene. They will take their word, their evidence, and then they will decide what is appropriate to prosecute with, at what statutes have been broken. No, Ted Cruz just saw his talking point that somehow the world was biased against the righties again, and he saw it evaporating, and he just fell back into a fit and would not let Garland look. Check out the video.
And the Department of Justice under this president was perfectly happy to refuse to enforce the law and allow threats of violence. And as you know, those threats finally materialized with Nicholas Roski, a 26-year-old man from California who traveled across the country, was arrested outside the home of Justice Kavanaugh, armed with a handgun, a knife, and burglary tools. And he said he came there to kill Justice Kavanaugh because he was enraged by the leaked opinion. Now, of course, you're prosecuting that individual for attempted murder. But did you bring even a single case to enforce this law, or did the Department of Justice decide this law doesn't apply if it's harassing justices for an opinion we don't like?
When the Dobbs draft was leaked, I did something no attorney general in the history of the department had ever done before. For the first time in history, I ordered United States Marshals 24/7 to defend every residence of every justice.
Well, Garland, as a judge, you're familiar with asking counsel to answer a question.
I am answering.
Has the Department of Justice enforced this statute? Have you brought a single case against any of these protesters threatening the justices under 18 U.S.C. Section 1507? Have you brought even one?
Senator, you asked me whether I sat on my hands, and quite the opposite. I sent 70 United States Marshals.
Let me try again.
To defend.
Has the Department of Justice brought even a single case under this statute? It's a yes/no question. It's not a give a speech on the other things you did.
The job of the United States Marshals is to defend the lives of
the answer is no.
Is to defend the lives of the justices, and that's their number one priority. They have.
Why are you unwilling to say no? The answer is no. You know it's no. I know it's no. Everyone in this hearing room knows it's no. You're not willing to answer a question. Have you brought a case under this statute? Yes or no?
As far as I know, we haven't, and what we have done is defended the lives of the justices with over 70 U.S. Marshals.
How do you decide which criminal statutes the DOJ enforces and which one it doesn't?
The United States Marshals know that they have full authority.
I recognize you want to give a separate speech.
No, I don't want to
How
give
do you
So, yeah, you've got Garland trying to answer his question, but he's just not being allowed to. Just not being allowed to. And then finally, we've got Ted Cruz, just whole cloth making shit up. When Mar-a-Lago was raided, well, it wasn't raided, it was searched. When they searched it, the pictures were leaked. Well, no, they weren't leaked. As Garland explains in this video, take a look.
As you know, the FBI raided Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. And subsequent to that raid, there have been multiple leaks about what was discovered there, including a photograph of documents that were discovered there. Did you know about the leaks from that raid?
The photograph was a filing in court in response to a motion filed by Mr. Trump. It was not a leak.
So you're testifying there haven't been leaks about the Trump raid investigation?
I'm responding to the point of...
Yeah, these were not leaks. They weren't leaked. This was a court filing, which makes it public record, which again destroys Ted Cruz's victimhood view on everything, which is, causing him to have just a hissy fit again. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Trump files a motion, the government files a motion, files their response to the motion, and it includes a picture evidence, and now that is a matter of court record. That's not a leak, folks. That's not a leak. A leak is when you call somebody in the press and say, I got some pictures for you. I'll let you release these. I'll leave them on, you can find them on the corner of such and such. There'll be a file there. Pick it up. You can have them. That's a leak. This was just a filing, a court filing. But no, righties always have to have this victim mentality. Always. Always. It's what they sell. It's what Ted Cruz sells. It's what John Kennedy sells constantly, that the right-wingers are being picked on, when it's just reality. It's just living in reality that they can't deal with. Trump did this. He's being investigated for it. He's going to be convicted for it. But no, these right-wingers have to sit there and tell their people, oh, no, we weren't bad. We didn't do bad things. We righties didn't do bad things. We're just picked on. See, they leaked it to a judge. Folks, we have to stop allowing this. We have to stop this. Every time you hear one of these righties make one of these comments, and they come into your social media, they come into your comment sections, they come into your tweets, they come into your Facebook posts, and they start playing victim, just tell them, stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. You're being a victim. You're making up shit to be a victim. Address it every single time. Every single time, because that's what they have totally become. They're no longer an opposition party. They've never been a governing party. Now they're just a victim party. That's it. That's all they are. And we have to stop it. So folks, please, I'm going to ask you again, please, 30% of you have not hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. And if you can, help MeidasTouch Media out, because they are independent media that are willing to tell you things the way they are and show you firsthand the way things are. I love you folks. This old Texas Paul out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
The best part of waking up? MAGA tears in my cup. Check out the new MAGA tears mug, available now at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com. It's 100% union made right here in the USA. I know I'm not tired of winning yet. How about you? Get yours today.